Just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday Eve, and welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real with Najeh Wilkins. I'm your host, so we got a lot to dive into today. We got some football news, recruitment. We're talking about film breakdowns as well. A couple players, one from Dublin and one obviously from West Forsyth, Draven Parker. So appreciate you guys tuning in and sending that film in. I'll probably get to that around about 2:20 in the second segment of the show. And also we'll talk a little bit about just the schedule releases that just came out. We got a couple graphics that we're going to show. And then we'll get into some lacrosse. Some teams have been announced, all-state teams, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we'll get into a little bit of basketball and then conclude with the top 10 headlines for the weekend, including the recent drops of the rankings. ESPN and also 247 updated their rankings, so we're going to take a look at that, see which players in Georgia made those lists. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. As you know, guys are subscribed on YouTube and watching our Underrated and Overlooked podcast. You know we've been talking about this team a lot, a team that we think is going to be a high contender in 6A next year, and that is Grayson. But they recently just dropped a workout video with some of their special players. Obviously, defensively, offensively, they're going to have some guys. But without further ado, we can go ahead and roll it and look at it. All right, so obviously first up, looks like they have Tyler Atkinson up, but here is the video. Yeah, no worries. Yep. You might have to like roll it back. You know, you go like to the video and then like roll it. Yeah, you might have to do that. Well, no worries, Craig. That's not. Yeah, no worries. But just a little bit about Grayson while we get the video ready. So as you can see, the post says just a violent breed of individuals. Spring ball is May 2nd, so that's the official start of their practice. And obviously they got some great, big time players. Atkinson you're going to see in this video. Anthony Davis is another one. He's been blowing up recently as well with major Power 5, or I should say Power 4 offers. He's also in this video working out. And as I said, I know obviously Carrollton, Douglas County is going to get a lot of the praise out in 6A, but I'm telling you guys, they made it all the way to the semis last year, lost to Milton. Don't sleep on Grayson. They got a lot of good pieces in there, especially defensively. I think at least 3 or 4 stars on that side of the ball. So they're going to be one team to watch. But if we can't get it to work, no worries, Craig. But it was just a video of them working out. I believe recently Atkinson had hit his max as well. But just looks like a specimen even as going into his junior year, and he's been starting since he was a freshman, coming off that incredible year, 197 tackles. But fortunately, it looks like the video is buffering, so no worries there. We'll see if we can roll and hop into our next topic. Go to Clinch County, they recently released their schedule, so take a look at that. All right, so here we go right here. So this is the Clinch County schedule. So kicking off, obviously they're gonna have a scrimmage with Jeff Davis. They play Bacon County, Wilkins County, Miller County, Berrien, and then also have 2 more weeks. Hold on one second, I'm gonna pull that up. Look, it's kind of clipped off there. All right, so looks like got a couple cut off. Feed all your friends. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's a little cut off, guys, but they also have a game after Berean. They have a game against Mitchell County, and then they're going to play, as you see at the top there, Irwin County, Charlton County, Brooks County, Turner County, and then at the bottom is going to be Lanier County. So that's their schedule, kind of how it looks. So Clinch County had a really good year last year, 11-2. They're going to lose, obviously, some of their great players. One of them is going to be Jeremy Bell, who is going to be a walk-on for Georgia next year. We talked about him last week on the show, kind of him setting those records, the 100-meter, the 200-meter, the 400-meter, and then the high jump, winning all that for his team. He's going to be at Georgia next year. So a player to kind of watch and look out for is going to be Aaron Bryant. Last year he rushed for 1,443 yards and 18 touchdowns. So he's going to be a big component for them next year. He was a junior last year. He will take a boatload of the carries. Bell also was running the football as well, as you can see here. But just as far as the schedule, what stands out, it's going to be Wilkins County, August 23rd. I think that's going to be a pretty big game. They had a good record last year. Was 3-2 in their region, made the postseason. Irwin County is another one at 7-6 last year. Also made the playoffs, had a really good year. And then I got to go Brooks County. What's so amazing about them is that they were 1-5 at one point in the year before riling off a whole bunch of wins, finishing the year 8-6 before losing to Swainsboro. So they had a really good year last year, doing their thing, performing at a high level as well. So they're going to be a team to watch. And then Lanier County is going to be another team on the schedule you want to watch for. 7-3 last year, lost to Emmanuel County Institute in the playoffs before moving on. So those are the games that stand out to me. Wilkins County, obviously Irwin County, Brooks County. Those are going to be, I think, the top games on the schedule. And then they got their scrimmage against Jeff Davis. So that's my thoughts. Should be very entertaining. Can't wait to see who's going to be some of the other playmakers for Clinch County, who had a really great year last year, 11-2, made a deep run. But who's going to step up besides Bryant for that team next year will be one to watch. All right, so we got another one we want to pull up. That's going to be Benedictine. They also released their football schedule. And, man, it is absolutely loaded. The non-region is almost as crazy as the regional schedule. And if you guys haven't watched it, Craig had a pretty good interview with New Hampstead coach. We have the up now on the YouTube page. But that's going to be a team in their region. They have a very loaded team. But as you can see right here, they're going to start and open up with Rabun Gap. So that'll be a really intriguing one. And then after that, they're going to play in the ERK Russell Classic at Paulson Stadium at Buford. That'll be another intriguing game. 6 days later, being able to see those two teams go at it. And then, like I said, Burke County is going to be another team. They're tough every single year. So that's also part of their non-region schedule. And then they have Archbishop Moeller out in Ohio versus the USA Classic. So that's going to be an entertaining one. That's going to be located in Alberton, Ohio at Tanks Memorial Stadium. Then they come home for one final game before they get into their region schedule. They're going to play Westminster at home September 20th. And then they have Ware County, Warner Robins, New Hampstead, Wayne County, and then Perry. So 2 consecutive region games against 2 top-tier opponents that are going to be very good this year. And then New Hampstead, another really great team, Wayne County and Perry. And what's so crazy, guys, 2 of these teams are not going to make it to the playoffs. And that is kind of crazy. It reminds me a couple years back when I was first starting here, and we seen the Stars Mill, LaGrange, their region. It really reminds me of that. It's going to be incredible to see who kind of comes out, and who does. They're going to be battle testing. And when you look at this region, I mean, Benedictine did a really good job of preparing themselves both non-region and region. So When they come out and they're in, I believe it's 4A, if not 4A, it's 5A. When they come out, they're going to be ready to go. So a couple ones that caught my eye: Beaufort, Burke County, obviously. Archbishop Muller's another really good one. And then, obviously, that region schedule game against Ware County, Warner Robinson, New Hempstead. And can't sleep on Perry, defending state champion as well. So it's going to be off the charts. And then Rabun Gap's a really good game, underrated game. But they're a really good team. They're in between that kind of border between Tennessee and North Carolina. But they have great players, all the time. They got a whole bunch of D1 prospects. They don't play GHSA football, but they are kind of the creme de la creme in that kind of, schedule that they play. So what's going to be interesting for Benedictine, and I thought, Hayden did a really good job. Go to scoreatl.com. He talked a little bit about it in his article, just young stars they'll kind of look to step up and replace, a really great quarterback class. In the article, he pointed out a guy that could be the favorite for the starting role, and that's going to be Stephen Cannon for Benedictine. So he's going to be one to watch. Comes in, has a Miami of Ohio offer, and a team that has historically been really, really good. Benedictine is always in the finals, always competing and battling against teams, and they averaged 41.66 points over the past 4 seasons. And we all know who they had last year, the signal caller, Luke Cromanhawk, who's now at Florida State. Didn't play in the spring game because, he had deal with a minor injury, but that just goes to show you how good Benedictine always is. So I can't wait to see what he's able to do at the helm, how he's able to affect the team and things like that. I think that's going to be very important to kind of watch out for. And another player I'm going to put you guys on, he had a really good season last year, and that is Bubba Frazier. He's a sophomore, 53 catches, 753 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He's going to be a big playmaker for them next year. Obviously, they lost one of their standout players, Thomas Blackshear, who's now at Calvary Day. Last season, but it's going to be interesting to see, besides Frazier, who else is going to step up. But that's going to be a playmaker to watch next year, and how they look at the running back position as well. But historically, as Hayden said in his article, they usually have an elite to great signal caller coming out of the cadets. So it's going to be an interesting team to watch, and the schedule is off the charts. Before I move on, Craig, I got to get your thoughts, man. What's just quick reaction to the schedule? What do you think?
One of the toughest I've seen. 7-3 would be still scary.
That's what I said. Yeah, oof. Obviously you're gonna go to your picks. Craig's gonna have his top 10 and everything, but I can't wait to see when he comes out with for this classification where he has it. We're gonna talk about it obviously later as the months roll on, but I'd be curious to see who Craig has coming out of that region. Because
the thing is, they've beaten Ware County, I think 2 out of 3 the last 3 years.
Really. What's a team that they kind of struggle with that you know of, or have they, out of some of those teams? None on there, right? Oof. Yeah, man. I say, man, get y'all popcorn ready, man. That's gonna be off the charts. Appreciate you, Craig, for pulling those up for me. But yeah, man, I think those are gonna be super fun to watch and see who kind of comes on top. All right, guys. So before we hit our first break, we're gonna look at a little bit of football recruiting. We had some major news coming out. I'm gonna start with the breaking news from yesterday. Go to scoreatl.com. Max had a great story on it. Got some quotes in there as well. But Rodney Colton, a very early commitment for him. I think it's interesting. 2026 had Georgia, Auburn. I know he's very high on Georgia. Liked it Alabama, liked it Auburn, and I know he's high on Georgia Tech. So interesting to see kind of him and that kind of should be able to fall because, it's so early still. I'm now getting into recruiting more, and I'm starting to see, okay, like 25s, that makes sense, those guys recruiting. 26 is usually like to wait it out a little bit. 27s is very, very early. Obviously, you got guys on there that are really good and some standouts, but you don't really see a whole bunch of 27s at this time. You won't see that until like next year. But I think it's interesting, and what South Carolina has been doing and Coach Shane Beamer has been doing is they're really standing out to these recruits on these visits, right? You go look back at the commitment of Landon Duckworth, the quarterback from Alabama, right? Jackson, I believe. They keep talking about how going into those visits, what really stood out to them was, they kind of knew in their mind, okay, this could be a school I commit to, but this being blown away by whatever they're doing when they come on the visits, the coaching, how the atmosphere feels, the facilities, things like that. So all that is making a difference for these commits, and they're doing an outstanding job. They let 2 top guys in the 26 class. They had a really good 25 class. They flipped a guy that was formerly of Texas A&M. That's former Milton receiver and now state champion DeBron Gatlin, who is now at South Carolina. You also got to go with Wendell Gregory from Walton. He's another standout type player that was able to, go to South Carolina. So they're doing an outstanding job recruiting. I know I'm not going to say South Carolina's a program on the rise, but they are really nailing their recruiting class, getting some good guys going in the portal and things like that. So they're going to be a team to watch. But, yes, go to ScoreATL.com, get the latest on that. And just a quick quote I'll pull up that Max was able to get. He said, "I saw the connection we had, and my mom loved it up there," said Colton. "Coach Beamer told me he was excited to have me and couldn't wait to see me again to chat more. I always wanted to play SEC football. I see more competition, and it makes you better, in my opinion." And then says, via his head coach, Chip Walker, he says, "We're excited for Rodney and his commitment. He is a guy who will be a 3-down linebacker in the SEC," said Noonan head coach Chip Walker. "He has worked extremely hard this offseason to be in the best shape of his life. For his junior high school season, South Carolina got themselves a great student athlete." So there it is. Go for the full story on ScoreATL.com. Max did a great job with that. So that's my thoughts on it. Getting a dog, getting somebody that can be, like you said, a 3-down linebacker, play side on the sideline, good in coverage, is all around elite. So that leaves the top of the football recruiting. We'll go next. Christian Garrett is set to make his commitment decision on July 20th. Obviously, you guys know he announced his top 7 a couple months ago, but he's set to do it on July 20th. That was reported by On3 Recruits. And obviously, he's the top guy. Had a really great run, already a 2-time state champion, ranked as the number 63 nationally and number 5 defensive lineman according to On3. And some of those schools, because he's going to have official visits to Clemson, Georgia, Georgia Tech, and Tennessee. So I think a great point. I don't know if I heard in the office or was talking to somebody, but somebody, I remember them saying all those are really around each other, which that was such a great point. I mean, like Tennessee's not that far. You go Georgia, Clemson, Georgia Tech. It's all kind of in the same vicinity. So I think he's going to stay in the Southeast and take his talents there. And he had a really great run, man, towards the downstretch of that season, right? He started to kind of get it going, having more sacks, more QB hurries, more pressures, stuff like that. So he's going to be a can't-miss prospect, and he will be announcing that on July 20th. Then another one was Isaiah Gibson, who obviously committed about a couple weeks ago, but still keeping his recruitment open. According to On3 Recruits, he's ranked as number 24 nationally, number 2 edge, but he's locked in official visits per Chad Simmons to Georgia, South Carolina, Auburn, Florida, and Oklahoma. So I think it's going to be interesting to see where he goes, if Georgia can kind of sway him a little bit. But a lot of those teams are southeastern teams besides USC, and then he obviously has one to Oklahoma. So he's keeping it open. I think this recruitment is probably going to go down to the wire for him up until he signs on the dotted line, because so many schools are very interested in his talent and what he can bring to the table. And then also in recruiting, you had Hayden Bradley. He announced his top 5, which was interesting. I got a chance to talk to him a couple months back. I know he's very high on Miami. He also liked what he's seen from Georgia Tech as well. But I'm not surprised to see Penn State on here. I remember him mentioning a little bit about Penn State and Nappy Valley and what kind of caught his eye there. So I thought, that kind of made sense. Also on this list, he has South Carolina, Florida, Michigan, and then Ole Miss. So supposedly he's supposed to make his decision. I believe I've seen it on X per Chad Simmons that he's supposed to make a decision sometime this weekend. Interestingly enough, we'll see. Obviously, that's not set in stone, but that's what's kind of being rumored out there for him. But, I mean, a really good list for him, especially with his size and what he could bring, 6'5", 215, 220. I mean, all-around special player. And what's so cool is, last year, obviously, they had Dylan Raiola, who's an outstanding quarterback, and he didn't have so many reps. But what was good about Hayden was he showed that he could be both at the tight end position. A lot of guys just want to be pass catchers. He can also block at a high-end level. And then Hayden is also good at receiving. He's a red zone threat. Hopefully this year we'll see Buford use him more. We know they have special athletes and talent. But, in that limited role that he even had last year, he still balled out, still had multiple touchdowns, and showed kind of that receiving threat and weapon that he could actually be. So he's going to be one to watch as well next year. And then last but not least in the football recruiting, got to give some love, man, to Ashton Moore. He picked up another offer today from Wake Forest. Like I said, it's a guy that's been blowing up as well. Recently, last year he had Texas. I believe Ole Miss was in there, Mississippi State. So he's continued to pick up the offers. And I think, like I said, the stars and all that is going to be coming soon. But key guys to kind of watch for next year for Alpharetta, obviously Julius Holly, who's a 4-star player on most platforms at edge, defensive end. And what I like about Ashton Moore's game is that he can play that inside backer and also can rush the passer at an elite level as well. So those are going to be some of the main guys defensively for them. We'll see how they look kind of at safety at DB position. But those are going to be the two guys to kind of watch for the Raiders going forward. A very important year for the program. I know Coach Kerwin does a good job with them, but they have a more favorable, I would say, region. So they should be able to make a little bit of a deeper run in the playoffs, but they're going to be a team to watch going forward. But those are the two guys to watch, and he just picked up the offer today. So that's the latest I got in recruiting across the state of Georgia. A lot of OVs kids are setting, and a lot of things coming up. So you guys watch out for that. But without further ado, we're going to take our first break, thank our sponsors, and be back on the other side.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation. Unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
All right, guys, welcome back. So appreciate everyone tuning in. So I'm going to go ahead and get into what you guys came for, and that is the film breakdowns. Two really good players, one from West Forsyth is Draven Parker. We're going to start with him, and then Dublin High School, who Brandon Chatman. I really like his game, y'all. I'm not going to lie. I like what he can do, and he's going to surprise you with some of these plays he makes on his tape, as well as I really like Draven Parker and what he can do. Underrated guy, but guy that puts his nose in there. And you guys are going to see these one-on-one tackles he makes with him being the only guy there, right? Having to wrap these guys up, having to make the tackle with no help on some of them. So I really like that about his game. Obviously, West Forsyth had a great year. Coach Barker and their head coach, Shavova, does a really good job. They went 8-3. They were featured in our Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic. I think they are still in it this year. I got to go back and relook at the schedule, I think. Prince Ave. Okay, cool. Thank you, Craig. But they're going to be a team to watch. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the tape. All right, so right here you see he gets his nose in there. Just a big-time tackle right there, fighting through, causing the fumble, picking it up. Boom, as the ref goes, our ball. Great job right there. And then here, you see him on the outside, looking him kind of come, shift through the block right there, make a nice tackle, wrap him up real well. And then here he's one-on-one on the island. So I believe this is the one I slowed down. One of my favorite plays on this tape. Okay, so pause it for me, Craig. So, again, you guys see, to me, looks like potentially a cover 3. Could be wrong. High safety right there. And then he's one-on-one. He's responsible for that whole zone. So, look how far off he is, y'all, on this play. Okay, so he's at the 50. The receiver is at, looks like the 41, 42, stuff like that, right? Look at him close on this play and dislodge the football. I mean, it's excellent right here. So far back, but look at this timing. All right, boom. So far back. Boom. Pause it, Craig. Boom. Still about a good 5-6 yards off. Now look at him come. Look at Parker come up and close on this football. Boom. Exquisite timing. Receiver has it. He dislodges it. Excellent PBU. It's excellent coverage right there. Love that play. And then right here, just getting his hand up at the right time. Dislodging. Same thing right here. Look at him come up. Oh, yeah, and I slowed this down. Actually, I'm going to have Craig roll this one again. Okay, yep. Okay, so pause it right there. So, yeah, I made this one extra slow. So, the quarterback throws it out. Obviously, got two guys in the area. But, again, same thing as you've seen in the other clip that I really liked. Look at him close right here on this ball. Should be a catch, but look at him come down, close the airspace, and cause another PBU. So, boom. Look him get it right in there. Dislodge football. Nearly has an interception. Good job right there, just dislodging the football. And then here he is, one-on-one, bigger quarterback, forces him out of bounds. Good tackling effort right there. And boom, here he is at the top. Look at him get his nose in here. Stop the momentum of the running back. Push him back. Excellent form right there. Limiting the gain. And then right here, love this. I'm going to have Craig, I think, roll this one more time. So, okay, perfect. Rinse the replay. Okay, pause it, Craig. So one-on-one. So you got four defenders across, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So this really should be a touchdown, right? Now, this running back's going to hit this hole. He's one-on-one. Now, Parker is here by himself with no help. You know, this is what I was talking about leading up to the film. No help. Look at him get the sure tackle. Now, if he don't tackle him here, it's a score. So I'm going to have you roll it, Craig. Now, look at this right here. Okay, great recognition by Parker. Boom. Stop it right there. See, it's blocked up. As you guys can see, Parker is the only one there. Look at the guy in the white. Now, he makes a move, makes him miss. That's a touchdown. His teammates are not going to get there in time. And the other backer is trying to sift through the block right there, sift through that traffic. So watch this. Boom. Get his head in there. Good wrap-up tackle, one-on-one. If he does not there, that's a touchdown. So excellent form tackling again. And then right here, he's one-on-one. Boom. I mean, same thing. Nobody's in the area. Big-time tackle yet again. And then boom. Pause for him, Craig. Same thing. Look at that. No help. One-on-one special teams. Watch it right here. And pause. Boom. Okay, so you got one guy. Okay, come on, guys. I mean, that's the kicker, right? It's likely going to get past the kicker. But he does a good job, right, using the edge, right, getting there, making it tough for the ball carrier right there, not getting baited by a move or anything like that, making him try to go more to the outside where sideline is excellent form tackle. Look at him square up, as you guys can see right there, and then boom, one-on-one, go chop him down. I mean, excellent. That's why I broke it down here. Love this play again. So he's the gunner all the way on the outside. Again, knows his assignment well. Boom, right here. Okay, I know he's going to go to the outside. Let me get to the outside, and then look at the tackle. Boom, let me get down low. Let me wrap up his legs. Big-time tackle. Again, no help on that play. Was excellent. And right here, you're going to see the block shed ability. You know, bait the guy, and then boom, contain on the outside, not let the defender get there. And then this is a big-time quarterback. Look how big the quarterback is. One-on-one. Big-time tackle yet again. Love to see that. And I think, then right here, in the return game, look at him get down low. Boom. Big time hit. I mean, hitting low, bringing down the ball carrier yet again. Same thing right there, getting your nose in there. Big time play. But that is the film. That's my thoughts. Again, as you guys can see, showed those flashes in there, right? Being able to, you know, come in and I think what that helps their defensive coordinator is that he can see, okay, I can have him play off, and then he can come up and dislodge the football and close down that airspace. And then I can leave him one-on-one on the island with a bigger quarterback or a running back, and he can make the sure tackle in those situations. You've seen it, obviously, in the play when he tackled the bigger quarterback from North Forsyth. You've seen it in the special teams effort when he got out to the edge and was able to secure it, not let him score. And then you've seen it one-on-one in that red zone play where he doesn't have any help, but he gets there, knocks him down, and prevents the touchdown. So definitely some great flashes right there. I really like him in run support. I would love to see, I would just say my only advice to him, just show a couple more clips of you in coverage. I think that will really help you out. But other than that, I think you did a great job on that film. You showed that you can run support, show that you can tackle one-on-one, and you also show that you can make different PBUs and things like that. So excellent film. That's my thoughts, and appreciate everybody tuning in and send me that film. All right, we got one more guy we're going to look at before we wrap up the film breakdown, and that's going to be Dublin's Brandon Chatman. Man, I mean, played for a team that went 9-3 in Class C Division I. This past year, he had 13.5 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, and 7 QB hurries, according to Max Preps. So let's go ahead and check it out. Because it just shows the relentless effort that he has. Craig, I don't think you have me on there. Yep. Yep, no worries. All right, so as you can see here, one-on-one, right, with the offensive tackle. We're getting double teamed here. Now, we broke this play down. Now, watch this. All right, I'm going to let you roll it, Craig. Okay, watch this right here. Okay, so watch the OT. Right, get out. Boom, he blocks him, and the OT's right there too. And then look at him sift through all that and still wrap up the ball carrier for a TFL. I mean, that's just one of many plays you're going to see on this film that he makes. Excellent right here. Right here in the red zone. Gets through there. Fast. Good wrap-up tackle, another TFL. Now watch the first step on this one. Boom. It's already beating them. Roll that one back for me, Craig, if you don't mind. All right, same thing. Now watch. I'm going to count 1, 2. Watch, he's already in the backfield. 1, 2. It's already back there. And then the relentless pursuit on this play to keep going, bring down the ball carrier. Big time play right there. See why I did the instant replay. Hands are in the ground. And then, like I said, I counted. You heard me. 1, 2, already back there for the sack. Right here. Boom. The left tackle has no chance. Right? He tries to. Too much speed. Too quick. Gets there. His teammate can't bring him down. He finishes off the play. Excellent tackle right there. All right, right here against the right tackle. Now watch this hit. Boom. Man. I mean, I was watching this film. I'm going to have you pause it real quick, Craig. I was watching this film, and I said, yo, I looked at the first 3 plays, and I was like, it just jumps out at me. Like, I usually don't have so many instant replays to break down a play, but I had to do that so many times on this film. I mean, it's ridiculous how many impact splash plays he was making. Now watch this. So this is excellent because usually a defensive end, right? And I'm going to have you pause it, Craig, and 1 right here. Usually defensive ends, they're going to crash, right? They're going to go after the running back. They're going to go after the quarterback, and then boom, that's in the play. Look at him see the play recognition. So, again, this speaks to his football IQ and him watching film, right? He sees, okay, I've watched film, a little razzle-dazzle. They're going to run a reverse to my side. Let me wait a little bit. Watch him wait. Right here. Okay, see it. All right, here he comes. He's coming my way. Let me make an impact splash play and hit him. Boom. Knock the ball loose. They don't get it, but that is an excellent play right there. Those are impact plays you want to see at the defensive line spot. Slept on, guys. Same thing right here. Look at him shift off the lineman and get another big TFL right there. Excellent. Right here against number 75. Get in there. Big time hit. Nearly takes number 2 head off. Same thing right here. On the outside, okay, is he good in run support? Yes. Right here. Boom. 1-on-1. Brings him out. Nearly creates another turnover right there. And then, pause it real quick. That's the versatility, right? He's lining off at left end and right end. So right here against the right tackle, you've seen the left end position as well. Him lining up against left tackles as well. So he can play either one. Same thing here, taking on double team. Look at that, another negative play. I mean, excellent right there. And then here he is right here. And then this is the punt. Look what he does. First one off, quick. Look at this. Boom. Pump block, first one back there. Again, another impact splash play. Get your team the ball in great field position. And then boom. I mean, you see how fast he's back there. I mean, 2 seconds. Boom. Quick first step. Same thing right here. Boom. Good hands. Contain outside. And then boom. Right there. Doesn't let the quarterback do anything with the keeper. Same thing. And then right here, good job using his hands. Sees the screen. Boom. He's right there with his teammates, wrapping it up, limited to a 1 to 2 yard gain. Excellent right there. And then boom, here he's off the edge. See the hand it to the running back. I mean, he's quick, fast back there in a hurry. And here he is against number 60. Waits. Boom. Excuse me. Good wrap up tackle. Don't let him get to the outside. And then good feet right here. Boom. Let him use his hands. Sift them off. Boom. Big time sack again. Don't let the quarterback get to the outside. Contain the edge. And boom, here it is. Fast off. Boom. Quarterback tries to escape. Big time TFL yet again. All right, and here's Chatman again. Boom. Roll that one more time for me, Craig, if you don't mind. All right, so here he is, 1-on-1. Again, there's some more razzle-dazzle. They try to bait the defense, go to the right. Look at him stay, impact, inform, and where he's supposed to be. Big time, another big time TFL. Watch it. Boom. It's going nowhere. Negative 3 yard loss. All right, same thing here. 1, 2, and then look at him contain the edge. I mean, that's excellent. You can't play that any better, right? Use the lineman's leverage against him. 1, 2 stands him up. Okay, he's gonna try to go to the outside. Let me get to the outside, limit the run. So I think he does a good job. My standouts, as you see in them first 3 plays, a lot of splash plays on this film. That's what you want to see at the defensive end spot. Just being able to make big hits, right? Being able to create turnovers, being able to block punts. He can do all that. That big hit, draw the ball loose. That's just a plethora of what he can do and what he's about. He had the relentless pursuit, right? Not necessarily getting there. On that one play where he was in the backfield with 2 seconds, the quarterback tried to escape. He still, kept going, running after him, getting a big time TFL. I think he's a disruptor. I think it's great bend off the edge. And I think he's really good at containing in the run support in the run game. Sometimes he's 1-on-1 on the island, but he's a good job of making sure the running back or the offensive lineman, or excuse me, the quarterback doesn't get to the outside, and he contains it very, very, very well. So, Brandon, man, you were very underrated, man. I enjoyed looking at your film. Those first few plays, like I said, that told me all I needed to know. Plays for Dublin, fighting Irish high school. I think he's in store for a big year. This past year, 13 and a half tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks. I think that number easily goes to 10-plus sacks this year and over 20-plus tackles for loss, man. So keep doing your thing. You're definitely a big-time effector on the defensive side of the ball. And what we look for at the edge position, can you make splash plays? And he checks off all of those boxes. So special shout out to you, man, and really enjoy breaking down your film. But that's my thoughts. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go to basketball really quick. A player that we've gotten to see a lot, and he is balling right now, and that's Jerron Salisbury. You guys may know the name. He played in our Corky Kell Dave Hunter basketball annual classic that we had this past year, the first kickoff of it. And, you know, I talked to Coach Matt a couple times about him, and he always raved about him, but he is balling right now on the AAU circuit for Under Armour. Already has several highlight reels and is building quite the buzz for himself on the AAU circuit. And we're going to look real quick at his offers. I mean, again, a kid has been blowing up in basketball, 2026 class. He has SMU, LSU, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, TCU, Auburn, Washington, Georgia, Florida State, Georgia Tech, and Arizona State. So I think he's one of those players you might see that can quietly, like, he continues the ball on the circuit. Might see him in that kind of that top conversation. Obviously, we're going to talk about the rankings later and top guys, but I mean, guys, go to his Instagram. That's guard_up Ronnie. Y'all go check him out, man. I mean, 6'6", athletic, very good defensively, and I mean, he's been catching bodies all spring and going into the summer, man. He's been having a special circuit, so I want to give him a shout out on the basketball realm. Y'all go check him out. All right, so now we got to talk a little bit about some of the results from lacrosse this past week. Playoff lacrosse is obviously here. So on 1A, 4A, Walker defeated Mount Vernon 18-10, and 5A, 6A, Alatoona dominated East Paulding 19-0, and their win advanced to the second round. Creekview advances past North Atlanta 12-7. Cambridge dominates Union Grove 18-3. Lassiter defeats Lanier 24-2. North Forsyth battled against Pope in a very close game, 14-12, and advanced to the next round. Woodstock defeated Dunwoody 13-8, and then in 7A you had Cherokee defeating McEachern. So that is kind of how that looks. I'm gonna look real quick, at the bracket just to see some of the matches for the second round. Boys bracket. All right, so as you guys know, so we talked about Walker just a couple minutes ago. They defeated Mount Vernon, so they're going to play Wesleyan in the next round. Wesleyan had a really strong finish to the season, number 1 seed, won out in their area, so that's going to be an entertaining one. You have Whitefield Academy is going to face Fellowship Christian, who enjoyed a bye week. They will face off later on this weekend. And then Pace Academy is going to face off against Stars Mill, who had a bye week. Holly Innocence is going to face Benedictine in the next round. Benedictine had a week off as well. And you have North Oconee facing against Mount Perrin. Mount Perrin had a bye week. North Oconee handled Fayette County 20-0. Mount Pitts is going to play Oconee County. Whitewater is going to face off against Lovett, who enjoyed a bye week. Savannah Country Day advances and will play Westminster, who had a bye week in 1A, 4A. And then 5A, 6A, St. Pius, Alatoona, I think it's going to be an intriguing one. St. Pius edged out Sequoia 10-9, so those two going at it. We'll see if Alatoona can make it to the quarterfinals for the second year in a row. They've been having a great run so far this year. Decatur is going to play against Roswell. Roswell defeated Noonan 24-0 in their win. Creekview is going to go up against Alpharetta. That should be an entertaining game. Both had wins. Creekview 12-7, and then Alpharetta 20-3 against Riverwood. Woodward Academy is going to face off against Cambridge. Cambridge picked up an 18-3 win. Lassiter and Marist, I think that's going to be a really entertaining game. Marist has been having a really good year. They are the number 1 team out of their area, so they're going to face up against Lassiter, who's the number 2 team in the home game. Blessed Trinity GAC will be a good one. Craig had on GAC coach earlier in the spring, and they've been having a good year. Blessed Trinity is not going to be an easy one. They've been having really good history in lacrosse as far as boys go. You got Woodstock, North Forsyth, and it's Centennial and Greenbrier in the next round. And then 7A had a lot of buys. West Forsyth, defeated Grayson 24-1. Hillgrove had a bye, so Hillgrove is going to have that home game. North Cobb's going to face North Paulding, who enjoyed a bye. North Paulding's been at the top all year long. East Calwetta is going to play against Buford. Buford had a bye week in their first round matchup. Milton's going to play up against Mountain View, who enjoyed a bye week. Milton defeated Duluth 19-1. North Gwinnett's going to play against Lambert. Lambert had a bye week this past week. And then Marietta's going to play Brookwood. Marietta had a bye, as well as Brookwood did. And then Cherokee versus Harrison. Should be an entertaining matchup between those two. Harrison had a bye week. And last but not least, Mill Creek versus Walton. Will be interesting to see. Walton will actually host that game in the next round. So those are the matchups for round 2. Keep it locked out. I'll have coverage again next week to kind of see. I think by this time next week, because the date is the 25th, yeah, we should be in the quarterfinals, almost going into the semifinals next week. So I'll have all the coverage there as well. All right, and then we got to talk about all-state teams. So that has been announced. I'll go through a couple of them. Class A through 4A, first team was Connor Hodgson of Westminster, Elias McLaughlin of Fellowship Christian, Jamison Meyer of Wesleyan on the attack team. They got first. Second team was Broder Conley of Wesleyan, Patrick Fisher of Fellowship, Cole Palmer of Mount Vernon. The HM was Morgan Campbell of North Laconia, John Arby Hudson of Mount Perrin, Jackson Wolf of Hebron. Midfield, first team, John Hicks of Mount Pisgah, Taylor Rottenod of Stars Mill, Mason Thice of Westminster. Second team, Noah Falcon of Fellowship, Max Steve of Hebron, Luke Waterworth of North Laconia. Honorable mentions, Tyler Hidman, East Forsyth, Armstrong Jones, Westminster, Sam Shermanette, Wesleyan, Ian Wahai of Whitefield. Defense, first team, Matt Bland of Wesleyan, Liam Gibson of Fellowship, Crawford Pope of Lovett. Second team was Ethan Bramblett of Stars Mill, Josh Haynes of North Laconia, Tanner Bowen of Hebron. The HM was Lane Healy of Westminster, Lawden Hickman, Fellowship Christian, Jacob Menifee of Wesleyan. The LSM, first team, Grant Chase of Pace. Second team was David Dixon of Lovett, and the HM was Bennett O'Brien. All right, a couple more. Goalie, first team, Grant Maudlin of Fellowship. Second team, Seth Maxwell, Stars Mill. HM was Max Anderson of Wesleyan, Alex Trujillo from Pace. The FOA, first team, was Carter Fears of Wesleyan. Second team, Julian Castellini of Lovett. HM, Gavin Garchiner of Mount Perrin. The SSDM, first team, Will Clem of Stars Mill. Second team, Jeff Hartley of Westminster. And West Vale for Wesleyan were for the third team. All right, so that's Class A 4A. All right, we got a couple more we want to look at. All right, so Class 5A, 6A, no surprise here on the attack side. First team, Ezra Moore of Roswell, had an incredible season. I talked about him recently. 200 career points he has over in his career. Brandon Fountain, another great player from Alatoona. He had another great game and a great season for Alatoona. He's been doing his thing. Landon Sommers of Lassiter also made first team. Second team was Sean Siracusa of Centennial, Chance Haney of Blessed Trinity, and then Harrison Volsky of GAC. Third team attack was James Davison of Cambridge, Braden Cifrio of North Forsyth, and then Cohen Rose of Alpharetta. Honorable mentions, Lincoln Miller Roswell, Braden Barrow Woodward Academy, Caden Parler Roswell, and then Kason Diamond of Sequoia. Midfield, you had first team Owen Rogers, Alatoona. He had another great year. Will Shepis of Chattahoochee, Kyle O'Neill, Roswell, Robbie Montgomery, BT, Wyatt Miranda of Alatoona, Michael Guy of Cambridge, and then third team was Ben Ware of Roswell, Ethan Forbes, Woodstock, Bryce Petru of Pope. Honorable mentions, Marley Straker of Etowah, Logan Walters of Lassiter, Hunter Bryant of GAC. All first team defense, Carter Dowdy, Roswell, Jaden George, Alatoona, Brady Corkill of Alpharetta, Quinn Peacock of Lassiter, Charles Eswood of BT, James Wilson of Lassiter, and third team was William Richardson Woodstock, Joseph Brosevich of St. Pius, Dean Maddox of Roswell. Honorable mentions, Riley Clark, JC, Pearson Foy, Maris, and then Bennett Rosenthal of Woodward. All right, and then you had goalie first team, Luca O'Reilly of Roswell, Gavin Howell of BT, Blake Jaska made second team for Roswell, Will Smith for Lassiter, third team Max Faust Alatuna, Jack Wildstein of Cambridge, honorable mention Matthew Adkins of North Forsyth, Colson Miller, Centennial, and then face-off midfield, Will Cochran first team, Lassiter, second team Blake O'Neill, third team Alex Romano of St. Pius, honorable mentions Jake Burles, Sequoia, and David Goals of North Forsyth. All right, LSM last position, Noah Sabalt of Lassiter, Mac Andrews of Centennial, Owen Forbes of Woodstock. The HM was Chase Goals of North Forsyth, and the SSDM first team Jacob Fusco of Cambridge, Luke Prester of Chattahoochee, and second team Kevin Sisso of Lassiter, Austin Etler of Roswell, Jacob Kohler of Alatuna, and Luke Parton of BT. So that's the list for 5A, 6A. Last but not least, got 7A. We'll talk about that real quick for players that made it. So the SSDM, Ryder Stewart, no surprise there. First team, West Forsyth, Harrison Richard of Lambert. Second team, Anthony Mazza. Third team for North Paulding. Attack first team, Evan Leonardo of Buford, and also Brooks Wyman of Lambert. Will Systra for West Forsyth. He's been incredible throughout his career. One of the reasons why West Forsyth won it all last year. Second team was Camden Clark, Buford, Ryan Chancer, North Paulding, and Cole Greenfield of Lambert. Third team, Greg Casey of Walton, Nolan Elwert of Walton, Braden Holleran of West Forsyth. Defense, you had first team Zachary Krill, North Paulding, Ryan Guardian of Walton, Dylan Farrer of Lambert. Second team was Griffin Lovett of Walton, Branson Brooks of Lambert, Jaden Franklin of Buford. Third team, Ryan Webb, West Forsyth, Cooper Turner, Harrison, and then Reno Volarand of Mill Creek. LSM first team, Oliver Skeen, Walton. Second team, Cooper Brandon, Lambert. Third team, Bennett Morrison of North Paulding. All right, goalie, Jake Sander, West Forsyth. Second team, Jackson Scott, North Paulding. Third team, Charlie Meyer of Walton. All right, midfield, first team, Matthew Scruggs, Buford. Cade McNeil of North Paulding, Carl Dagner of Walton. Second team, Charlie Goldstein, Lambert, Cohen Anderson, North Gwinnett, Dylan Brozina, Denmark. Third team, Drew Maloney of Buford, Bo Frank, Milton, Luke Emmett of Brookwood. And last but not least, face-off, first team, Matt Scrio of Lambert. Second team, Austin Hurd of Buford. And last but not least, Mason looks like Tolland of North Gwinnett. So that's the list of all state players from this past year. Had an incredible year. I'll talk about a little bit about my top contenders here in just a little bit in our next segment. But we're going to thank our sponsors, take one more quick short break, and conclude with the top 10 headlines for the weekend.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
All right, guys, welcome back. So, top 10 headlines for the weekend presented by georgiaconstructioncareers.com. Number one to lead us off is going to be ESPN dropping their new rankings for the class of 2025 for basketball. Some key notable players on there. Obviously, across the nation, AJ Dionbasta, Cameron Boozer. Number 4 was Caleb Wilson of Holly Innocence. We've seen the playoff run he had this past year and what he could do. Just all-around player. Reminds me a little bit of KD. I mean, I know some people get that kind of comparison. I know Brandon Ingram coming out of high school got that comparison. But I just think what he's able to do how effortless it looks for him. His body size, his build, 6'9", can shoot it from three very well, can get to any spot on the floor, can handle the basketball. So going to be interesting to see him kind of on the circus this year, but he got on this list as well at number 4. Got a chance to see Bryson Tiller a little bit. Interestingly enough, he actually started his career, talked about it a few weeks back, at Pace Academy. So he's been doing his thing. He's a top-level recruit. He's number 6 right now, currently in the class of 2025. So he's a notable player on here as well. And then 23 was a Kai Fleming. He plays at Osborne. Kind of want to see, what next step he takes. He recently was in the news, made his commitment to Georgia Tech to play for Damon Stoudemire. But I want to see, obviously after that knee injury, kind of how he's going to look, obviously, in the 3 SSB circuit, which is the Adidas circuit for AAU. Kind of how, if he's able to play, how he will look there. And obviously next season, coming back for his high school team, how is he going to look after the injury. And they had a pretty good year. And I think with him, they could be even more dangerous for his senior season. So he's going to be one to watch. Can really do everything, 3-level scorer, can defend at a high level, can shoot the mid-range, shoot the 3. Not too much you can't ask him to do. So he's also on that list. And then Jacob Wilkins was at number 52, which I think is kind of low for him. I think he's going to definitely climb up these rankings, especially 52 to me just seems low, especially what he did at the Throw National Tournament. His athletic ability, him being able to dunk, finish around the rim. He's one of the best front court players, I think, in the country. And I think he's going to move up way more than what he's at 52. I think he's going to put a lot of people on notice. He plays for the Stars for Nike EYBL. I think he's going to have a special season next year, and it's one of the reasons why Grayson was so good last year, made it to the semifinals in that Throne National Tournament and won it all this year. Him and Amir Taylor are going to be ones to watch next year for Grayson. Some of the returning players from their really loaded 2024 class, but I think he will move up a lot. And then last but not least, a guy that, again, blew up last year, had a really good AAU circuit, and at number 90, that is Tyler Jordan. And I'm not going to lie, going into the postseason for 6A, I was a little disappointed that Shiloh didn't make it because I wanted to see them kind of go up against Alexander, because I thought the big man of him going up against, obviously, Braden Liu, I thought would have been very, very entertaining, but Riverwood had other ideas, and they did their thing this year, winning it all, whether they're 2 prolific scorers, Karis Bilal, obviously J.R. Leonard, and their whole team, so shout out to them. But I want to see kind of how Tyler's, and that group comes back next year with Shiloh. Always very loaded basketball-wise, just seeing if they can finally make that run and win it all would be interesting. Obviously, next year it'll be different classifications as well. The rebranding of the region, so they won't be in that same 6A. I think they'll be in 5A, I believe, next year. So I want to see how he comes back. Obviously, one of those guys can defend, can block, can rebound on a high-end level. Want to see how he continues to kind of perfect that jumper. I think that'll be something to watch for him. So that's the list. That's some of the guys that made it. Can't wait to see how their career goes as well and what happens. All right, so at number 2, and I was telling Craig about this before we got on as well. So 247 just really recently updated their rankings for 2026 class. They got about, it looks like they majorly updated it. Yeah, because I only seen 22 before or yesterday. Yeah, so I think they really updated their rankings. So they got up to 45 players from Georgia on this list. But number 1, I got to get Craig's reaction on this. But number 1 player in the state, previously Craig, it was number 8. Xavier Griffin from Gainesville, 6'4", 210, nice size, got him listed as linebacker. They have him as the number 1 player in the state of Georgia. What's your thoughts?
It's a big jump.
Yes. Yes, it is. He's number 15 nationally. It's big.
They're essentially saying he's the best defensive player in the state.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Best defensive and best player all around. Because he's number 1.
I need to do my homework on him.
I feel that. From my perspective, I've definitely gotten a chance to watch him play. And I think what scouts and people are salivating over is what he could become, right? 6'4", he already has good size. He hasn't grown into his grown man body yet. He makes those same splash plays that we've seen on Brendan Chatman's film. He can create turnovers. He can, obviously strip the football. He's good at run contain. When he plays, I'm not going to lie, Craig, when he's playing and we look at his huddle film, Coach Nibble and that defense, they got him all over the field. They got him inside backer, outside backer, defensive end. He's putting his hand into the ground. They got him all over. So I think it's interesting, and I think a lot of scouts are salivating over what he could potentially become. And right now, a lot of team predictions are at Georgia to land the prospect. So I think it's intriguing for me, and there's no disrespect to Xavier. I think he's phenomenal. I don't think, and I don't mean any disrespect when I say this, but I definitely think Atkinson is the top player. I mean, what he's able to do, having over, 15 sacks last year, 197 tackles. The things that Grayson asks him to do is very tough. Now, I'm not saying that Griffin shouldn't be a top player. I think he should be in that top 3 conversation, in my opinion, top 3, top 4 conversation. Only players I would put over him, in my opinion, humble opinion, I would do Tyler. I do Aaron Gregory, who got a little bit of disrespect on this list. I'm not going to lie. And then I will put Griffin in that convo with Devin Carter in that 26 class. I think those are the best prospects in Georgia right now. But number 1, you definitely turning some heads with that. But I think a lot of people like his potential. And I'm not saying it's not there. Potential is there. I can't wait to see this year what he's able to do with Gainesville, who, as I've been saying on the show, I think they're going to have a top unit across the state, maybe even the country, in their front 7 with him, Julius Columbus, and some of those guys they got coming back. They're going to be special. But that's the update on that. Other players I'll hit on real quick. Xavier Tiller also made the list. He's number 4, jumped up from 10 to 4. Bryce Perry-Wright jumped from 11 to 5. Jordan Carter jumped down from 2 to 6. Barney jumped up 2 spots in the state. Other jumps, which I thought is a little surprising, I put him in my top 5. That's Zealous Hicks. He dropped down from 4 to 9. Caden Proto also dropped down from 5 to 10. Gregory, which is surprising. I still think he's number 2 in the state. Top player in the country. Aaron Gregory at 11. Just looking at other jumps. Other guys who made this list that we got to start looking out for. Tristan Givens was a player that was not ranked that made this list. Obviously, Jordan Edmonds is another one. Trying to see who else on this list that we have not. Anthony Davis made a big jump from 32 to 21. That's the Grayson linebacker we've been talking about. Player I did not see a lot of, and I got to do my research on, like Craig said. Camden Jennings of Denmark, 4-star player, number 244 nationally, number 22 player in the state. So I got to do my research on him. Tyree Green, no surprise there. Carson Baker's on this list. That's the outstanding track runner, I should say, from Langston Hughes. Can't wait to see what he does. Young guy, going to be the bell cow for them. Jatavis Wyman dropped a lot from 17 to 29 in these rankings. Kind of surprising. And then a couple guys that weren't rated that are on here. C.J. Gamble of Carrollton, a linebacker. Jalen Copeland of Valdosta, I'm very high on him. Christian Ward's obviously a 3-star rating as well. Will be at Walton now. Jerryon Campbell, running back from McEachern, was not ranked going into these updated. He is officially ranked. DJ Bordeaux, the quarterback now at Douglas County, he's rated as a 3-star in updated rankings as well. So those are the ones that stand out to me that made this list, and that's my thoughts. All right, let's keep going. We'll go to number 3. All right, number 3, obviously you guys know I made a top contender list on the boys' side, and at number 1 I had North Paulding. What they've been able to do this year, finishing strong. They scored 39 goals in their final 2 games of the regular season, held their opponents to an average of 0.5 goals during that stretch. Finished the season 18-0, one of the best teams in the state, let alone the country. They'll be one to watch. A staple team at number 2 is Lambert. What they've been able to do, there was their first loss in a state championship in a while. They've been dominating, really. This is like them and one other team that has dominated lacrosse, but West Forsyth was finally able to win and beat them twice in one season, so shout out to them winning their first ever one. But they're the second winningest program in state history, and then they were seeking their 3rd championship in 4 years. So still, despite not winning it last year, a very good team, and they've had a great run. I think they're 14-2 as well. And then Roswell obviously dominated Area 5, number 1 seed, and they also had their back-to-back 9-0 season for the 2nd year in a row. So they've been doing their thing. Coach Brian Wallace, it's a team of accomplishments. Coach Brian Wallace reached 200 career wins, and we just talked about Ezra Moore, who's all-state. He secured his 200th career point as well. And then Alatuna, can't sleep on them, man. Another good team. They just get right at the right time. They get hot at the right time. They know a lot of all-state players. We talked about Braden Fallon. We talked about their midfield, their defense. They do a really good job, averaging 12.4 goals and scoring 19 goals in 2 games this season. So they can really score with some of the best of them, and they play some of their best ball at the right time. And last but not least, at 5, Stars Mill. Panthers finished 14-2 this year, have a lot of really good wins. Only losses was top-ranked Buford and Fellowship Christian. And right now, they're my favorite in Class A through 4A. The only team I could see maybe as a contender, probably maybe against them, is Fellowship Christian. Got to throw them in there. But they look primed for a state championship. So that is number 3. Number 4, we'll talk about the top hitting performances really quick. All right, so Caden Thompson of Cherokee Bluff, he had 4 hits, 4 RBIs, and 11-6 win over Seconder. V.J. Heath of Brookwood, he broke the game open, came up big for Brookwood. He had a double, which drove more runs in than Parkview did the whole game in that upset win. Bailey Thorne, 2 of 4, had a double, a home run, and 5 RBIs. Peyton Morrison, Calvary Christian, went 2 for 3 with a double and 1 of 4 home runs hit in that game. Cole Murphy of Heritage went 2 for 3 with 2 homers and 3 RBIs also. And then Ben Green of St. Anne Pasili went 3 for 4 with a homer and 2 RBIs. Y'all go to SB Live Sports, do a good job of always updating that list as well. All right, number 5, DeMarco Lawler Jr. He set a new PR in 2 events this past week, so shout out to him in the jumps at Region 8 7A. He hit a 24-2 PR in the long jump, a stadium record. And then he hit a 46.9 PR in the triple jump, which also took first place. And then he ran the 4x100. His team got first. He was 41.85, and he ran the first leg. So special shout out to him for his record-breaking performance this past weekend at the regionals. As you guys know, the sectionals kick off this weekend, and then state, and then that is a bow and tie on track and field. So shout out to them. All right, so as you guys know, this weekend, a big weekend of events. At number 6, Elite 11, it will be taking place at Gainesville High School. I'm going to have a couple players actually competing in this that I've seen per their Twitter. One, obviously, will be Cade Wigington. I think he's going to have a stellar year this year. Obviously, for South Paulding, I like what their coach is doing there, Coach Allen. I think he's going to have a big-time year this year for them. He's going to be there. Caden Clay is another one that I've seen. And then last but not least, also seen Shane Throgmorton is another one that's supposed to be in attendance. So those are 2 guys I've seen. Obviously, there are more that will be in attendance. I'm sure they're going to have the rosters there. But Elite 11, obviously last year we had some top guys. Prentice Nolan, I think, was there. Not sure if Juju's going to be there. I know he competed in the Rivals Camp last weekend. But Elite 11 usually has some of the top quarterbacks. Obviously, this is a regional series. And then I think 3, maybe 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 guys gets invited and then go and battle out at the Elite 11 Finals in California. So that is coming up. They do a good job with the event. Last year was at Carrollton. This year will be at Gainesville on Sunday early in the morning. So y'all go check that out as a big event this weekend. All right, number 7, go back to baseball really quick. Top pitching performances via SB Live had Kason Gleaton of Parkview pitched a 7-inning perfect game against a good Brookwood squad to help give Parkview the series win after they lost the first one. As well, he struck out 7 batters, didn't allow a single run. Then you had Cole Bonatatibus, interesting name, of Tallulah Falls. He had one of his better performances on the mound versus Athens Christian. Went season high 6 innings, only giving up 2 hits, no runs, and striking out 9 batters. And then Johnny Nutt of Wilkins County, 4 hits while striking out 10 batters in a win over Lee County. Dalton Jurgen of Thompson has been on a roll. He picked up a win against Westside after a 6.1 innings of work, and struck out 13 batters, which is 2nd straight time on the mound striking out those batters. All right, and last but not least, Connor Strandmark of First Presbyterian Day, I should say, proved his record of 7-0 this year. Stellar outing versus Gatewood. Complete game shutout with 9 strikeouts. So shout out to him as well. So number 8, we'll go to a couple. I'll just highlight some. I know Craig covers this sport very well, and that's track and field. Let's go to a couple top performances this year. Obviously, Sydney Najeh of Westlake, 45.49 time in the 400 meter. Jaden Wiley of Duluth just set another record, 20.88 on the 200 meter, fastest in the state so far this year. Tommy Latham of Marist, we've been talking about him so much, April 16th in the pace region tune-up, 4:09.28 time in the 1600 meter as well. He also holds the fastest time in the 3200 meter at 8:46.88 time as well. And then in the 110 meter hurdles, got Dominic Norton of Woodland High School. He's been holding the fastest time since March, 13.88. And then the 300 meters, 37.26 for Aaron Jones of Archer. Been holding that since March 23rd. And then Maurice Gleaton of Langston Hughes has the fastest time since March 30th, almost a month from now, or almost a month ago, I should say, 10.24. What's interesting on this list, and last one I'm going to kind of conclude, is the 4x100 and the 4x200. Langston Hughes owns the fastest time in both. Langston Hughes recently set it, 1:25.01 in the 4x200, April 23rd. And he also have the record 40-30 in Panther Spring Classic, March 27th. I'm telling y'all, watch out for Langston Hughes this year, man, as far as just football. I know it doesn't always necessarily translate. Craig knows this better than me because he's been covering the sport longer. But it's just something about that track speed, man. It's just different. I think with them having Carson Baker, running that event, and he's their starting running back, 3-star player, Maurice Gleaton. When you have that kind of speed, man, it makes a difference. I know it's going to be tough because they're going to be in 5A this year. They're going against the favorite, who obviously they should be the favorite in Milton and Gainesville. But don't sleep on them. They're another one of my teams that I think has a really good chance to make some noise next year. Could surprise some folks, could pull off an upset in the later rounds. I'm telling y'all, watch out for them. Obviously, won the championship 2 years ago. Their head coach does a really good job, Coach Boone Williams. So watch out for them, man. Having some of the fastest athletes, man, not only works out in your favor, get the ball to those guys in space, let them work, man. They're going to cook up. So watch out for them, man. They're going to be fun to watch. All right, number 9, before we conclude the show. So we just talked about top track performances. I got to give a highlight and a shout out. We covered them all year this past year. Darius Malcolm, formerly or still at North Atlanta, had a great year, obviously, on the football field. Led them to I believe, the second round of the playoffs. Had a really good year. He set a new PR with a 10.92 time in the 100-meter dash and was named Region 4 6A champion for the event. So he's been doing his thing, leading North Atlanta to a lot of success, obviously on the football field and in the track. And I definitely think he'll be competing, I think, this weekend in the sectionals for North Atlanta. And obviously their head track coach does a really good job with the group. But wanted to give him a shout out, a new PR of 10.92 in the 100-meter dash and winning the region championship before your high school career concludes. That is pretty cool. And the year's almost over. Only about 3 to 4 more weeks left in the school year before we are headed to summer. So I think that's intriguing as well. All right, before we go to 10, I want to give a quick shout out to Buckhead Boys for tuning into the show and also dropping a comment. He said, Brandon Chatman, yes, sir. So he watched when I did the film breakdown on him. So shout out to you, sir, for tuning in and leaving a comment on the show. Definitely make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely get us on the socials and comment below some film I should watch next week potentially. All right, number 10 to close out the show. Got to close it out this way. Come on, y'all. Y'all know what today is. Okay? Y'all know what today is. I got Craig chuckling. You know what today is. It's NFL draft time. Okay? I'm excited. I got a pump up I just seen in the background from Graham. Come on, man. It is the best time. That and I think the March Madness, man. Those are like the best time periods I think in football or just in sports itself. So I can't wait. I think it's gonna be mayhem. Craig, you might want to listen to this one, man. I'm hearing your Chiefs. They're trying to trade up. I heard they're trying to get Amarius Mims. That's been rumored out right now, so I think that is intriguing. I heard that the Vikings are trying to get J.J. McCarthy. They're trying to trade up. I heard the Giants are trying to get Drake May. So I think it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, Philly is trying to trade up as well. I know we're trying to trade up. We got a couple guys that aren't happy in T. Higgins and obviously Trey Hendrickson. So I think it's going to be interesting, man. I can't wait. And it's a lot of rumors going around right before up to draft. So my big takeaway, my crazy idea, we talked about obviously on the show Tuesday, underrated and overlooked. I think in this draft that the Las Vegas Raiders, they're going to get their franchise quarterback. Now, I don't know what they're going to necessarily do to do that because I heard that Michael Penix Jr. is going to probably go pretty early than most people think, right outside that top 10. So I think it's either going to be, in my humble opinion, and I have it here on this board, I think it's going to be either Jaden Daniels or I think it's going to be Michael Penix Jr. as their 2 quarterbacks that they ended up getting. One of those 2, I think they're going to get, and I think that's who they're going to go for. And the good thing for the Raiders, you got the right coach in Antonio Pierce. Now you got to just get the quarterback. I think they get the quarterback in this draft. So that's my thoughts. Appreciate everybody tuning in. That's all I got. Happy Friday Eve, man. And it's draft time, baby. So y'all go tune in. 7:30 on ESPN. Should be a lot of fun. And NBA action also tonight. Will the Lakers go down 3-0, or will they finally get a game in the series and trail 2-1? We'll find out. But before I wrap up, who you got tomorrow? Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, Craig is going to have Brookwood. Stay tuned tomorrow at noon. Draft his GSA state title. I wonder what other weapons they're going to have besides Braden Tyson. That's going to be interesting to see what he says. But that's all I got. Thank you guys for tuning in. Happy Friday Eve. This is another edition of Keeping It with Najeh Wilkins, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.